Godzilla! Hey everyone, I just got back from watching the Godzilla movie, and it was good. I liked it. I like giant monsters. I really like Pacific Rim. It's not quite as good as Pacific Rim, but it's pretty good. And I'll give you the things I didn't like about it here in a bit. There's going to be a few spoilers, and I'll let you know when those are about to come up, because a lot of people apparently don't like knowing things until the right exact moment for them to know them, because that makes it better somehow. So I'll keep you informed. Before that, though, I kind of wanted to rant a little bit about economical things. Like, this is going to tie in a second, but I just saw this video yesterday of like Brad Pitt throwing a beer to, who's that other actor that just moved in next to him? I don't know. Famous actor. Anyway, I saw that and I was like, these movie stars, when you think about it, they're actually poor in comparison to these super 0.01% elitist, the Bilderbergers, the Morgans, the Rockefellers? No, the Rothschilds. I think the Rockefellers are pretty up there too. Like, all these super elite guys. Somebody posted a picture of this guy on Facebook that has like trillions, or his family has trillions, and you don't even know who he is because they don't seek out fame. They're so wealthy that it's kind of just beyond fame or something. They pretty much run the world. When you think about it, like, rich people aren't even rich in comparison. They're so much more rich. And I've also been thinking about, like, a lot of the people in America are really stupid. And I got a good example of that. Some people will just sit next to me at the movies. And I've been thinking lately, like, should really dumb people have the same amount of money as everyone else? I don't really think they should. They shouldn't be, well, I don't know. It's like you give them computers and they spread their stupidity all over the place. And you see people that are like way smarter, like in India and these poor countries that can't afford things. You have these dumb Americans that have smartphones. They don't even know what they're doing. It just annoys me. It's like, you know, you've seen the examples, right? People ask people stuff like geography questions, like people don't know that Africa is a continent, not a country. They can't point to Australia on a map, that kind of thing. Huge percentages, like 3/4 of Americans don't know simple things like that. And you really see their stupidity when they're at the movie theater. This is a good example of like pointing out who's stupid, because people sometimes will talk during a movie. They'll talk at the movie, and they'll just pretty much say everything that runs through their mind, almost like they don't have an inner dialogue, like they don't have a subconscious. It's all verbalized. And by the way, can anyone guess what color these people were? Or what race? They're fat white people. You didn't expect that, did you? Yeah, they're pretty much the kind of people you'll see at, there's this group on Facebook, Walmart people, that always takes pictures of people at Walmart. I don't know if they were like a mother and daughter. Like, one was kind of older, I think, and then super annoying. And they weren't like talking a ton. They weren't like yelling like black people do. Unless they were pretty annoying. And you know, at the beginning of the movies, they'll have this thing now, because so many people have smartphones. It tells you to turn off your phones, or you'll be kicked out of the theater and shit. As soon as that message went off, he turns his fucking phone on and started playing with it. Both of them did. So I naturally assumed that they must be turning it off or putting it on airplane mode or something, but no! It went off during the movie. It started ringing. It just pisses me off. The stupidity of people. And another thing was there's this trailer for this movie called Lucy. It had Morgan Freeman on it. I'll put a picture of him. I think Morgan Freeman's dots on his face are growing. They're getting bigger, or there's more of them. They're all up on the top of his eye and stuff now. It's crazy. But Godzilla, good movie, but it had a lot of what do you call it? Inconsistencies, continuity errors, I think. I'm going to go start getting into the spoilers now, so if you don't want to watch any more of the video, that's fine. But, so the people next to me, this is kind of an example of how they just talk about everything that's going on. If you haven't seen the movie yet, Godzilla's fighting two other monsters. I'm not going to say what they are, but there's a couple other monsters in the movie. One of them is female, one of them is a male. They're going to mate. So one of them has a bunch of eggs. Like the monster's walking over this guy who has a gun. And of course the guy sitting next to me is like, shoot them eggs. And then later on, what was it he said? There's like a bomb with a timer on it. And it said 5 minutes on the timer. So the guy next to me says, 5 minutes left. And then they're like, there's some stuff happens and he's like, that bomb should be going on pretty soon. There it is. It's like, what? Why do you have to say everything? Just watch it and let it happen in your brain. Oh, because nothing's happening in his brain. That's why he has to talk about it. What was the other thing he said? Oh, when Godzilla's fighting the monsters, he kills the first one. He's like, that one's dead. Like, yeah, they show that in the movie. That's what the point of the movie is. They explain things to you with pictures. You don't have to say it. I think him and the woman next to him were sharing the same brain, and one of them maybe has to say the thing for the other one to understand what's happening. Maybe she's blind, and he's just telling her what's going on. I don't know. It's just so stupid. But, I think that's most of the things I heard him talk about. They were eating a lot of shit, too, making noise, because they're fat as fuck. But other than that, just the movie in general is pretty good quality. The special effects and everything. CGI looked fine, I guess. Most of the problems I found was, first of all, it's a monster movie with monsters fighting other monsters, and that's what you come to see. I mean, there's a lot of other movies in the theater right now for certain types of people. There's like Interstellar coming out, which is kind of like for the science-minded atheist type person, and you got God's Not Dead and Heaven Is Not Real at the same time right now for the crazy religious freaks, if you want to go see that. And the Godzilla movie is kind of like in between. If you're like science-minded, but you don't really care about scientific literacy or how accurately something could happen in real life, or if it's physically possible. Because these people don't really seem to notice that Godzilla's pretty much invulnerable to things. He's a powerful beast. They're talking during the movie about how back in the 50s they were trying to kill Godzilla with atomic bombs, but those were kilotons, and now they have megatons. So these are some serious bombs. They're worried about the old nuclear bombs being able to hurt Godzilla because they're not powerful enough. So why does all the army guys have guns everywhere? Just leave the guns at home. It's just extra weight. They're not going to do anything. The only reason you're going to need a gun is in case there's some survivor that comes running at you trying to get away and you have to shoot him to put him down or something. There's no reason to have a gun. You're not going to use it for anything. Why? There's even a scene where a guy pulls out a pistol with Godzilla staring at him. Or the other monster. I don't remember which one it was. But why would you do that? It's so stupid. Like all these warships shooting missiles at Godzilla, and they got tanks blasting huge howitzer rounds and rocket launchers. Godzilla's one weakness: small arms fire. Nuclear missile. I don't think it would hurt him, but take these M16s with you just in case. Made me wonder, like, if they did happen to shoot the eggs that they had, like little fetus Godzillas, or not Godzillas, but kaiju babies or whatever in there. Like, could a fetus survive? If it's like a baby fetus, human fetus, obviously couldn't survive outside the womb, but if it's a giant fetus, it would still be bigger than like an elephant. Or maybe not an elephant, but like a dog. It could be as big as a dog. It could eat other animals. I wonder if like a fetus never developed. It went around and just stayed as a baby fetus, a monster fetus. And then every movie nowadays has to have this sort of a male hero and like some woman and a kid, and they have all this kind of a love story, or they're trying to get back to each other and survive kind of thing. I don't care about that. Why do you bother with that? It's like most of the movie was that. And this guy, he's not really a hero. He could have just... the military pulls him in to talk to him about his father knew some stuff, which was Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. And he dies, like, way too early. He was, like, a good actor. Why did they get rid of him so fast? So then his son is like, oh, he did say something about animals' echolocation? Oh, so they're talking to each other. How did that help? You just wait until the fucking monsters come out of the ocean. You're going to see the monsters. It doesn't really matter if they're talking to each other. I mean, then they kind of come up with this plan. So where... I'm giving a lot away, by the way. This is a lot of spoilers. So the male and the female are trying to mate, and Godzilla is coming to stop them. So they're all going to converge in this convergence point in the ocean, like 20 miles out, and they're going to fight. So the plan is, get all these nukes there, and since they have like these EMP things that knocks out the electricity, you got to put this old retrofitted mechanical timer on it. And this guy from the army, he like was in Afghanistan doing like roadside bomb, like getting rid of the detonators on them or whatever. What do you call that? Explosive ordnance decommissioning or whatever. But he's like, they ask him like, could you defuse this nuclear bomb if we got you there? Oh, 60 seconds. I'd have it done. Yep, I know all about this. I'm an expert. Sure, okay. Totally makes sense. So then, like, the monsters, they eat radiation, they absorb it. So, they live near the core of the Earth since all the nuclear missiles or whatever haven't been gone off since the 50s or so, or something. I mean, there's still nuclear power plants everywhere. They could still go to those. It makes no sense. But then, the plan was to lure them with the nuclear warheads because they could detect it somehow. Like, how? Nuclear warheads don't give off radiation, do they? I mean, you have enriched plutonium and uranium or whatever, but not until they actually split the atoms do they actually emit radiation that you could detect, right? Because they got soldiers standing right next to the missiles, like, doing stuff to them. They would be dead if there's that much radiation that this monster could detect radiation and follow it around. That makes no sense. And then, what was it? I don't even, there's like this whole thing, like, okay, there's several nuclear warheads going off. But you see the guy actually put the old mechanical thing in one of them because they're going to move it with this train. Then the monster comes and destroys the train and he eats it. So we're like, okay, that one's gone. No, wait, he took it and he gave it to the other one, and the other one went and made a nest out of it. So they went and got it. See, here's the thing. If you look at the cover, the humans are totally weak to these monsters. They can't do shit to them. So they do this halo jump out of a plane, and they put all this smoke on their legs, so it makes these big streamers from this guy, which makes them look big and powerful. And actually, maybe they can contend with the Godzilla. But no, humans are weak as shit. They can't do fuck all against Godzilla. They even hit him with a nuke at the end, and he... Well, I'm not even going to say. But, like... They get to these eggs. This is totally spoiling the whole movie. You should not have watched past when I said don't watch past this part. I don't know, I thought they got rid of this nuke that was on the train, because he destroyed the train, but then it appeared again. He disarmed it? But then it went off anyway? Or something? They were going to take it to the boat, but then they blew up the boat? And then there's several missiles that the thing stole, and they ate them, but none of them went off. I don't think a nuclear missile actually went off until the very end. But then, look, everybody's standing around. It's supposed to be bigger than Hiroshima. Those were kilotons, these are megatons. But it went off in, like, San Francisco. And everybody's just walking around. Like, everything's fine. And then all the families, they meet up. And the kid was on a bus that was on the San Francisco bridge, and the bridge got destroyed, and the kid ends up, he's fine. They find him later. What the fuck? I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand how people lived. And then Godzilla, he's like the savior of the people, even though there's buildings getting fallen over and stuff. I'm sure millions were wiped out. Way worse than 9/11. Way worse. And then Godzilla blasts his lightning, killing the final monster. And the people next to you start laughing about it. Like, what is the best moment in the movie? They're just laughing like idiots. I don't know. Man. Godzilla. It was something, though. At least it was an experience. As soon as these people sat next to me, I'm like, well, my movie's ruined. But at least I'll get a good video out of this. I'll have something to talk about. Fucking fat white people. Always guaranteed.